All right. Welcome to the another show of Beyond the Brawn. And in today's episode, I have my fellow YouTuber and martial artist, martial arts coach, and he is a MMA expert too. Welcome. His channel is called as Alpha Living. Welcome to the show, and thanks for making it, brother.
Hey man, sorry, I got cut off for a second. Can you
No,
see
no
me?
worries. Yeah, I can see you.
Cool, man.
I can see you right now.
Sorry, let's restart, okay?
Okay, I just said, introduced you saying that you're a fitness YouTuber. Along with that, you have far more better skills. Somebody who's just lifting weights. You're a mixed martial artist who's done capoeira and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So if you could introduce yourself and also talk more extensively, we'll take it from there. We'll talk extensively about martial arts and helps us.
Yeah, sounds good, bro. Can
Okay.
you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, awesome, man. Sorry, it's a little laggy. So yeah, my name is Vlad G, and I run the Alpha Living channel. I've been running the channel for about a year, just a little over a year. And yeah, I've been lifting weights for I'd say about 6 years now.
Okay.
I was lifting for a few years, for about 2 years, and then I took 4.5 years off to do MMA.
Right.
Just did an MMA. I didn't do any weightlifting and things like that. And yeah, also I've been doing capoeira, which is a Brazilian martial art. I've been doing that for about 13 and a half years now, so it's been a long time. And
All right.
yeah, that's about me. That's what's up.
Okay, so what did you get into first? Was it martial arts or was it lifting?
It was capoeira. I was in school, and all the kids, I'm from Russia, so in
Hmm.
Russia there's a big community of like martial arts, right? Like kids either do martial arts or play soccer. That's
Right.
all it really is in Russia. Lots of people think there's actually lots of hockey and things, but hockey is a rich people sport. In Canada it's
Uh-huh.
very big. In Russia they
Okay.
don't have too much hockey, only in Moscow. So all the kids either get to martial arts or into soccer. So I got into capoeira, and yeah, I've been doing that for 13 years now. And through capoeira, I was trying to enhance myself, my skills, right? So you're trying to get your flexibility up, trying to get your strength up, and things like that. So I started getting into weightlifting to improve my capoeira, and I fell in love with weightlifting. And now I see myself equally as like a bodybuilder, as
Right.
as a capoeira practitioner, as MMA practitioner. So again, lifting started for me from just enhancing my sport, but it became my passion as well. So yeah.
So, so you basically, I mean, train to more as a martial artist rather than a bodybuilding style of working out. Am I right in saying that?
Uh, well, not really. At first, it was like that because I was trying to enhance my martial arts, but
Right.
now I'm like strictly bodybuilding. I do some powerlifting, but I do mostly bodybuilding. I have a
Uh,
bodybuilding split training. Street bodybuilding. I'm hoping to maybe a bodybuilding show. So that's my
right.
plan. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you answered one of my questions, but that leads to a lot of other questions. I mean, you are from Russia, right?
Yeah.
But settled in Canada, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. As far as I know, I mean, my knowledge is limited, but I can always, expand it by talking to people like you.
Yeah. Totally.
As far as I know, I mean, in Russia, I think the number one martial arts or the form of martial arts which is practiced is sambo. Am I right in saying that?
I would say yes. Uh, it's There's lots of martial arts. They do lots of Greco-Roman wrestling, boxing is huge. Uh, yeah, lots of grappling is very famous, and
Okay.
straight boxing. So kickboxing has been fairly new in Russia, but boxing is a long history, and grappling.
Okay. I mean, because I didn't know capoeira was something which was like taught in Russia. So that's something which I,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
which I got.
it's been getting bigger and bigger in the last, I'd say, 20 years, and there are schools all over the world. Right, there's like the UK is super huge for capoeira.
Mhm.
Obviously Brazil, Canada
Right.
is getting there. US, yeah, especially the hot places like California and Florida, all the Brazilians immigrate there and open schools. So it's getting
Right.
big.
All right. That's cool. Did you get a chance to train in Sambo too? Because as I understand, you're what belt are you in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, I train no gi jiu-jitsu. So no gi is no kimono.
Training.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so in no gi. Oh, you mean capoeira?
No, no.
Sorry, repeat the question, brother. I cannot hear you.
Sorry. I think there was a lag. Are you able to hear me now? There was a lag, I
Yeah,
suppose.
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, what I was saying was you have trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I wanted
Yeah,
to know to what extent, as in, how much of time you have spent doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and if you could probably compare that to Sambo, because I think I don't remember when I saw it, but I saw somebody wearing a T-shirt which said if Sambo were to be as easy as Jiu-Jitsu, I would have called it Jiu-Jitsu. I think there is a little bit of friction over there, right?
yeah. It's yeah, Habib Nurmagomedov from the UFC. He wore a shirt like
Right.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, jiu-jitsu wise, I've been training jiu-jitsu for about 6 years on and off, and I've been training no gi. So no gi is no kimono. So when you train no
Right.
gi, you don't really get belts. You don't graduate. You just train with no, there's no belts for no gi. So I've been
Mhm.
training for 6 years. I felt like with a gi, it doesn't translate into MMA very good. So therefore, I try to stay away from gi, even though I respect it's a different almost sport on its own, jiu-jitsu with the gi, because there's lots of
Mhm.
different chokes, it's slower, lots of grip. But for me, my goal was always to MMA while doing jiu-jitsu. So with gi, just it's not the same thing. So I felt like if I train jiu-jitsu with no gi,
Mhm.
it would probably translate better into MMA and grappling and things like that. And then for the sambo question, it's similar in some ways, but in sambo, I believe it's pretty much like almost very close to it's closer to MMA than jiu-jitsu. Sambo, it's almost like MMA with kimono on top and then shorts on the bottom, and they do
Right.
punches and they do kicks, they do throws, they do submissions. I mean, it's not done in a cage; it's done like in a wrestling mat. But it's closer to MMA, I would say. But there's lots of submissions and lots of Russian practitioners in the UFC and Pride, where it came from sambo, and they're really good at submission. So people thought it was jujitsu, but it's similar. But I think jujitsu is more self-defense, like as it started, right? Like it's submissions and grappling and trying to control somebody who's bigger than you and get to safety. Where sambo is
Right.
a real like offensive martial art as well. There's punches, kicks, everything, right?
So basically, Sambo is like more like attack, and Jiu-Jitsu is more of a defense.
Yeah, yeah, I would say. I mean, obviously, you in every martial art there are attacks and defenses, but I mean, in the end of the day, in boxing, there's attacks and defenses, right? But I think jiu-jitsu is more suitable for women, children as well. It's a very good art where you can go 100%. You can spar in training 100% and not get hurt. That's the only martial art you can do that. Any other martial art that you're sparring 100% with somebody, injuries could definitely happen. Right? When jiu-jitsu, you roll, and you get somebody in a lock, you tap, done, and you safe. Right? So it's an interesting dynamic for sure. But sambo is more like MMA. It's geared towards for sure.
Right. I mean, you lucky that you're that part of the world as in when it comes to martial arts because you get to explore a lot of different kinds of martial arts. But here in India, it's very limited. I mean, I don't see anybody who's like black belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If they are coming from over there, and training is very expensive and very limited. And I did find, I did try to find somebody teaching sambo, which I couldn't. So
Yeah,
what we could find here is more of striking than that of grappling and stuff.
yeah,
And if you could was there a lag?
yeah, yeah. I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay. What I was saying was, if you could elaborate again, a lag?
Yeah, like again. Sorry, brother. I
No
can hear
problem. I
you.
mean, with this Google Hangout, it happens quite often.
Yeah, yeah.
What I was saying was, if you could talk more about your fights. You did fight mixed martial arts, right? So if you could talk more about it.
Yeah, I never actually fought like professional fights. I did some jiu-jitsu tournaments in gyms and things like that. But I came really close to a real professional fight. Actually, in 2011, I was training and I had this fight. I signed a contract and everything. I trained for a bunch of months, and then it was after the fight. It was about 2 hours away from my city. So we drove there. We cut weight. I cut about 22 pounds. Back then I was a bit skinny. I was 175, so I had to cut
Okay.
like to 155. So yeah, 20-pound cut and everything. And then I got to the event, and the person weight or something like that. Like they weren't in shape. They couldn't make weight, so the promoter had to cancel the fight. And then after
Hmm.
that, I injured my lower back. I got a herniation in my disc, so I took time off to recover it. So I get back into lifting to get the mobility and this flexibility and the strength back. And I kind of fell in love with bodybuilding again, and I started doing the bodybuilding more than MMA now. So that's pretty much what happened. So yeah, I don't have a professional fight in MMA, but I did have some jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff like that.
Okay. So I mean, you still train, as in spend a lot of time on the mat doing jiu-jitsu, or probably what form of striking did you practice?
Just MMA, so everything, kickboxing, cage fighting, right? So yeah, I was more of a kickboxer because I came from capoeira, so good legs, mobility, and stuff. So
Okay.
I enjoy kickboxing more because boxing, I feel is limited. Even though I do enjoy
Right.
boxing, it's its own skill, its own martial art in some ways, but
All right. And what's your current training routine? What kind of training program do you follow when it comes to training, and what about diet?
so I for the martial arts, I train 3 times a week. I train capoeira right now, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and then sometimes I train, I spar and things like that, MMA with some friends at the gym, at my bodybuilding gym, at the workout gym. But I don't actually go to attend the gym right now to train like every day kind of thing. I don't have time for that right now because I'm busy with work and bodybuilding because I want to do the bodybuilding show next year.
Right.
And with that, I have to focus on that. So I need to like be training. So it's funny as it sounds, bodybuilding and martial arts and MMA mixed martial arts, they're not really good friends, if you know what I mean. Because if you're working out hard and train legs and this and that, you always sore, you always have lactic acid, and then it really limits your training. Right when you go train, I would go work out, do legs, and then go to my MMA gym, and the guys would be like, "Okay, guys, let's go 200 bodyweight squats." I couldn't do that, right? And
Right.
sparring for hours and things like that. So I'm pretty much trying to gain weight and gain strength, and then in MMA I lose everything, right? So it's like give or take relationship. So I had to slow down the MMA in order to advance in the bodybuilding.
Right. And what about diet?
Yeah, my diet is if you check out my channel, I really try to stay away from talking about diets too much, and the reason is it's very controversial. Lots of people will want to cut your head off if you say something they don't agree with. So
Right.
in my channel, I don't really talk about it too much because there are the vegans and there's the paleo diets and this and that. I try to stay away as much as I can. But for me personally, I only eat chicken and fish. I don't eat other meat,
Right.
and that's just my personal choice. I try to eat a high protein, high carb diet. Like I'm always in a surplus in my calories, trying to gain a little bit of weight now. I'm sort of bulking, lean bulking. I'm gonna try to get to about 210 pounds. I'm about 200 now. So
Right.
yeah, nothing crazy. I don't do any special diets. I'm just eating, trying to eat, lean kind of proteins. I eat lots of salmon, and chicken and brown rice and all that good stuff. So nothing crazy, unique necessarily, but it works for me for now. Once you cut, you always have to change your diet and the calories and things like that. But yeah, that's what I have to say about diets.
Right. I mean, as you said, it's true. I mean, even when I was like grappling and wrestling stuff, if you're like there was a lag. What I basically I was saying is when I was trying to grapple or probably wrestle, right? If you have more muscle, it's good. I mean, even though the idea of jiu-jitsu or wrestling is more of technique and less of strength, but if you're like somebody like Mark Coleman or Kevin Randman, like very muscular guy, buffed up, then it helps you when you're trying to wrestle and stuff. But you have a time window by which you have to finish off your opponent, or you're exhausted. You don't have anything in tank. Whereas we have other
Yeah,
kind of fighters like Fedor Emelianenko,
yeah,
who probably who looks like somebody who doesn't train and stuff. That's only until unless you get into his face or probably in the ring, and then you'll know
yeah.
the hard realities of life, right? Uh,
Yeah, well,
so let's talk.
what I have to say about that particular thing is, I agree, muscle does help in some ways, but it definitely can detract. As you said, there is a give and take relationship here. If you have too much muscle, you have
Right,
to change the style. So either got to be really aggressive and count on finishing your point very fast, or you have to do what I do, which is the lazy type of fights, which is really stay defensive and conservative until you see an opening and opportunity, and then you go hard and try to catch a guy, but really not
right,
trying to beat the offensive guy. I'm always the defensive guy and looking for openings more than
right,
offensive because with my body weight and everything, I weigh 200 pounds. I'm 5'7", right? So it will take a lot of energy for me. I'll gas out very quickly if I don't pay attention to that. So, you said somebody who doesn't look like he has much muscle, whether you're skinny or on the opposite scale of things, you don't have to fuel your muscles with that blood. More blood flow, oxygenated blood. So it's also good if you want to be a cardio machine, but you cannot have crazy amount of muscles. So take for sure. Take for sure.
right. I mean, let's talk about Victor. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Okay, let's talk about Victor Belfort. He is
Sure,
one
man.
of my favorite fighters, but
Me
I
too,
mean,
man.
my heart broke down looking at his last fight against Jacare,
Yeah,
right? And I believe, if when it comes to technique, speed, and agility, he is there. He can be, even today he can beat anybody. But unfortunately, his strength and energy is gone. That's what is lacking.
yeah,
That's the only thing which is lacking in him, and keeping him away from the title shot. But I think it's pretty much over for him until unless he go back to the pets.
yeah.
Well, what is your opinion?
Yeah, yeah, I love Vitor, man. I started watching this guy when he was, like very young, right? Fighting in Pride, and he his career started really good, and then it went down because he had like troubles with his family. I know his sister got kidnapped. He went in
Right,
depression, and he lost like lots of fights, very like stupid fights. And then in the
right,
UFC, before the UFC started actually fighting pretty good. They signed him, and then he started doing really good again, right? I mean, the drugs, uh, controversies and things like that. Let's not talk about this necessarily, but really, in the end of the day, the problem is sometimes it's just matchups as well, right? Like somebody, just a bad matchup for your style, or you can be a really bad matchup for somebody's style, right? So, like look at
Right.
Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz, and lots of examples, right? Uh, and I
Right.
think in his last fight, I think that's what it is. Really, it's if you look at previous fight of Vitor, he was fighting versus Weidman, and
Right.
he got gassed out very quickly, and it didn't look good, and he got finished. But before that, he was looking amazing. He came in and was throwing some elbows and striking until he got taken down. So with Vitor, I think it's almost like a mental thing. He doesn't enjoy the ground game. With jiu-jitsu, you need to fall in love. You need to enjoy being on the
Mhm.
ground. You need to spend hours on the mats to develop your craft because it's a lot more difficult than striking, in my opinion. There's a lot more techniques. So if you don't love it, you're not gonna train it as much. And Vitor is more of a striker, so he just enjoys standing up and banging. And if you watch a guy for 20 years, you know his style, you know how to beat him. You practice to take the guy down and not trade any punches with him. And that's what Jacare did, right? But to say that he's done, I'm not sure. We have to see him against
No,
somebody
I mean,
kind of with a similar.
no, I'm saying that with a lot of regret. It's not that I'm talking the way
Yeah,
Joe Rogan is
yeah,
saying, right? What I'm trying to say is, he. I mean,
yeah,
that's what I see. I mean, usually you see with people who are like in their 35s or something like that, who have been fighting for professionally for a long time. They usually lose the speed, or they're not the same. But it's not the case with Victor. It's only the energy, right? I thought
yeah,
he would win the Whiteman fight. In fact, I thought he will finish him off. I don't know how he lost that.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, me too. Well, I think yeah, you're right. As you said, the speed goes down, but in the same time, the experience goes up. You have more experience, so those guys really they need to almost reevaluate. They cannot fight the same style anymore as they get older. They need to change their style. And unfortunately, those guys they cannot believe that. Anderson Silva, that's his problem. He doesn't believe that he's slow. He doesn't believe that he's older. He doesn't believe that his chin is not as good, and therefore he's suffering every fight. He gets dropped by people who do not have any power or limited power. So therefore, it's almost like you have to recognize that you're not as fast and your chin is not as good, and you have to change your style. You have to be more defensive. You cannot be as confident, right? And that's the problem with those guys. They just can't do it. They've been fighting for so long. They have the experience. They do really good at the gym. And then they go in a fight and they fight another young guy who's fast and strong and they lose. And, they're always going to have an excuse saying, oh, it just got caught. You just have to change your style. Vitor Belfort, he has good jiu-jitsu. He just needs to revisit it. For example, Anderson Silva, he has such a
Right.
good movement and things like that. He needs to do the movements, but he also needs to focus on offense, for example, because he's too defensive. He has the opposite problem, right? So it's really you have to adjust your style as you get older, as your body changes. A good example of that is actually Alistair Overeem, right? Because he was a big guy
Yeah, I
and
was I was about to
yeah,
talk about. We'll talk more about it.
yeah.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, but he's a good example to talk, right? Because he's a guy who's huge. Well, he started very skinny in Pride, and he would win a fight,
Yeah.
lose a fight, win a fight, and then he got really, really big. And again, you can talk about drugs and this and that, but he was on top of the world, right? He's beating everybody. And then, he lost, started losing muscle, and he started losing fights. And then all of a sudden, he switched something in his game. He became more defensive. He changed his strategy, and he's winning again. And he might get the next title shot or something because he won, I think, 4 or 5 in a row
Sorry,
now.
sorry. I think
It's
there was a little,
interesting. Okay, sorry, bro.
no. There was a
What was
little bit of lag. When you
okay? What was
spoke.
the last thing you heard?
I heard like he changed something in his
Yeah,
game
he
and he
changed.
started
Yeah, exactly.
winning.
Yeah, so he changed his style and he started winning again because he became more defensive. He understood that he's not as big, he's not as strong anymore. So you have to be fighting in a different style, and that's what he's doing now. And he might get the next title shot because of it, because he's fighting different now. So it's interesting to see, and lots more fighters need to look at that as an example. can adopt that, change your style.
No, I think that's a very very valid points which you made, because yes, I mean it really doesn't make a difference whether a fighter is on steroids or not. I mean, let me be very open. I think it's gonna give them advantage in terms of strength. It's gonna help give them a bigger gas tank to probably make more damage. Apart from that, it's not gonna make a difference. Yes, I mean it's difficult for the opponent, but what basically I wanted to say is Reem was like a skinny guy, right? Winning, losing, as you said. And then he became big and he won all the titles like K1 and stuff, right? Then now he is at a point where most of the big time fighters are facing, whether they were on steroids or not, somebody who lost something which was an advantage. But now you could like see he's coming back. Basically, what I understand is technique and your skill is going to remain the same, because now he's
Yeah,
winning based on his skills.
yeah,
So I think
exactly. I mean, your experience, right?
it's a classic example for someone who says, like if you're on roids, you can, like win fights or you can become a great fighter or whatever. It doesn't count. As
Yeah,
simple as that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, again, he got a lot of experience, right? I mean, losses sometimes teach you a lot about life, about your fighting. Sometimes you learn more from losses. So I think he learned that he cannot continue fighting like that. I know his chin got a little bit worse, and again, maybe he got off the drugs, so he has to change his fighting, his techniques, and everything like that. His game plan, right? His style, and I think he did that, and it looks good now. I think he could become the champion in the next year or so.
I think okay. Is it fine? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Okay. What I was saying is, I believe 99% he can win that belt. But if he gets cocky and things like like the old days, then he's going to lose, because Stipe is a very impressive striker. But if you look at Alistair's experience and kind of skills, he can actually win the fight.
Yeah, I was actually rooting for Verdum for that fight
Mhm.
because I thought that Overeem has a better chance to beat Verdum.
Yeah, he has. He absolutely has. But I think with Stipe, it's going to be interesting fight. Probably we would have looked at it in a way. Okay, what I was saying is we would have looked at the fight in a different way if Reem were to be big. Like when he fought Brock Lesnar,
Yeah,
everybody would have said, for sure it's okay. So what I was saying is now that he's like leaned out and he's very patient, so it's going to be like more like a chess game.
yeah, I hope so.
I hope so.
Stipe fights very aggressive, lots of punches,
Punch
very offensive.
very
So it's a little scary fight.
it's a little scary. But I think if you can get Stipe to the ground, that could also be. I mean, put him on the ground and pound, and that's going to help. I don't know how good Stipe is in the ground. That's something which I have not, noticed. So if you
Yeah,
have, if
yeah.
you could,
He has good of defensive wrestling. He's very good at not going down. People clinch him against the cage, and he's good at turning and getting back to the center and boxing and sticking to his game. He's not big kicker. He's not big wrestler on top. He's not good jiu-jitsu guy, but he knows. He's kind of like Chuck Liddell, right? He has good hands. He knows how to stay away from the ground.
okay. What about if somebody mounts him?
Oh yeah, for
Can he
sure. If
fight?
somebody mounts him, he probably gonna get screwed up. But the problem is to mount Stipe. He's kind of like Chuck Liddell. As soon as somebody tried to grapple him, he would find a way to disengage and get back to the striking range, or the punching range, right? So it's not easy task.
Right.
If it was easy, Verdun probably would have mounted him, and other fighters, but Bigfoot
But
Silva.
I felt Wadum did not fight his fight. He was trying to fight more of Okay, what I was saying was Varun tried to, outdo Stipe in striking.
Yeah.
He was trying to perform, better everywhere, which is a big mistake.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, I think he did the same mistake when he fought Mark Hunt as well, right? He was losing that first round. You don't, yeah. If striking is not really your game, I don't know why stick to that so badly, right? Like, why not try to stick to your jiu-jitsu? Look at a guy like Jacare, like Damian Maya. Those guys don't mess around. They can stand up enough to be defensive, but they're not gonna
Right.
just try to win a fight like that. They're gonna wait for an opportunity to take it to the ground and then do their thing, right? So it makes sense to do that.
Right. I'll tell you what, if Mark Hunt were not to have a lot of issues at that point of time when he fought Barum, he would have beat him for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it was a short notice fight and everything, right? So it is what it is.
Yeah, I think he had some issues with the family, I suppose. He was really upset at that point of time.
Yeah, yeah. No, I remember he had some problems, but I mean, I think the biggest issue was he had no cardio, right? Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Verdun was supposed to fight uh, Cain Velasquez, right? And Cain
Yes, yes.
Velasquez got injured, so then they replaced Cain Velasquez with Mark Hunt, and it was like a 1 week or 2 weeks notice for Mark Hunt, and Mark Hunt is a huge guy, so he really needs to get in shape to fight, and he didn't have the opportunity. So I think he came out trying to finish the fight, and then he got caught.
Do you, okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Okay. Do you remember Mark Hunt jumping on Wanderlei Silva in Pride?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, it's crazy because Mark Hunt had some crazy classic fights, but he had some really, really bad streaks, right? So it's nice to see a guy do a 180 and improve his life and his career. It's nice to see that because I like Mark Hunt a lot.
Yeah. Do you follow Kevin
K1, yeah, I've seen some K1, yeah.
on kickboxing? Ah, okay, I was saying, do you follow Kevin kickboxing?
K1.
Yeah, yeah, K1 kickboxing.
Do they still have them? I think they don't have them anymore.
No, no, they don't. I mean, now they have something called as Glory Kickboxing, but
Yeah, and even Glory, I think Glory is shutting down, I think.
yeah, it's not big anymore as it used to be. But if you probably YouTube it, K1, you would find all the old fights.
Yeah, yeah.
Mark Hunt versus Racer Fu is a good fight. You could watch that.
Yeah, it's crazy fight. When they're standing both of them with their hands behind the back, and then he knocks him out. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
K1 was crazy.
it was
Machida was fighting there. BJ Penn fought in K1. K1 was crazy.
yeah. I mean, there was
Honestly,
a lot of Dutch kickboxing was pretty much big.
yeah, Badr Hari, all those good guys. Yeah, I used to love K1.
I mean, but another guy, a lot of Dutch guy. I mean, a lot of Dutch guys fought in K1
Yeah,
because that's their forte.
yeah, and I mean even Glory is a good league for sure. It had some really good fighters, and they had nice tournaments, like 4-man tournaments. Or 8-man tournaments in one night, like 4 fights, 3 fights in one night. So it's very interesting
Yeah,
to see. It's too bad they, I think they lost the contract with TV station, so they're not. I don't know what happened there, but Tyrone Spong used to fight there. It was good fights.
right. Okay. Any more plans for your channel? I mean, if you
Let's see plans. Well, you know what? My channel, I kind of had to neglect it a little bit in the last
could,
2 months because I had to just pick up more work. Like I'm doing a office job as well as renovation on the side. I work for myself, like my own
right.
business. So it's busy now in the summer in Canada because most of the year it's cold. But now there's summertime for 4 months. It's gonna be warm. So lots of people they're doing fences, decks, and things like that. So I'm very busy. But after that,
Okay.
hopefully September, definitely hoping to get back at it hard. And I have a couple people. I met a couple people who are videographers, so I'm hoping to
Right.
link with them and maybe get couple professional videos done, and things like that. But overall, YouTube is a hobby. Not trying to be Christian Guzman or anything like that. So yeah, I'm just taking it as it goes. If it grows, it grows. If it doesn't grow, it is what it is. I'm not gonna cry about it.
Right. No worries. I mean, probably you could. Do you follow Quinn Tran?
Yeah, he's huge.
He's also in Canada, I suppose.
Yeah. I'm hoping to collab with him actually in the next few months. Hopefully, he's only 3 hours away from me. Channel is growing like crazy. He's the man.
He's the man. Yeah. I mean, I mean, he comes across as a very, happy-go-lucky guy.
Yeah. I think his food. People love all these food videos. People love that stuff.
I mean, he eats a lot of food, man.
Yeah, that's why he's strong, man. That's why he can do four plates on each side as pause squats.
Yeah, I mean that kind of food can feed my entire colony. Actually, what he eats.
I believe that, man. I believe him. Good dude, man. I love that guy, man. I hope to meet him in the next 3-4 months, and before he gets winter again, because it's only 3 hours
Alright.
away from me. I really don't have an excuse why not to meet with him.
Okay, and I would like to look more of martial arts videos from your channel,
Yeah,
like probably
definitely.
explain.
Yeah, for sure. The breakdowns that I used to do, and they take a really long time. Like most people don't realize how long one video takes to, because what I have to do is I have to download like of those fighters, like biggest fights, and then I have to watch all of them. Each fight is like 15 minutes minimum.
Right.
And then I have to analyze it, write down ideas of weak points and strengths of each fighter, and why I think somebody would win, and then I have to make it all into one video. So it really takes me between 10 to 20
Right.
hours for a video. So now that I'm busy a little bit in the summer, the next one I'm hoping to do is UFC 200. I'm gonna hope to do that, but I'm hoping to do it more often after that once the summer finishes. But for now, really, the next fight I'm gonna do is probably John Jones versus Cormier, the breakdown.
Okay. Nice talking to you, brother. Right, and thanks for doing the show.
No problem, brother.
I always, look at your channel. I do follow you, right? Whether it's on Instagram
Thanks, man.
or YouTube channel, you're most welcome, right?
I appreciate it, man. I
And we
appreciate
share the same passion for martial arts. That's something which is very close to my heart. Probably we could do a Facebook Live sometime as well.
Yeah, totally. And I'm happy to do one more of this. And I find the problem with this kind of hangouts is I've been talking about myself, and I don't like that. I would like to learn about you as well and things like that. So maybe next time we can do more of a conversation and things like that. Because
sure.
I mean, I did 2 or 3 hangouts as well with other people.
Right.
Exactly what happens that when you run it, you only ask questions, and you people tell you what they think about this, about that, which is very interesting. But it's I'd like to learn about you as well, and and stuff like that. So it'd be nice to talk one more time next time. Learn about you more.
Sure, brother. You set up a Facebook Live anytime, and I'm there.
Sounds good, brother. I appreciate it, man.
All right. Take care. Train hard.
Good day for you.
Take
Good
care.
night for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good day.
bye.
Bye.